Civilization is built on vision. Without it, people drift, lost in routine, disconnected from any higher purpose. Art has always been the force that shapes this vision, carving the unseen into something tangible. It takes raw emotion, undefined longing, and turns them into form. The cathedral spire reaching for the heavens, the painted myth echoing through generations, and the melody that outlives its composer. These are more than artifacts. They are markers of what humanity aspires to be. Yet in the modern world, art is treated as an afterthought, a luxury rather than a necessity. Society obsesses over efficiency, pragmatism, and function, discarding beauty as if it were an indulgence. But the truth is clear: a world without art is a world without direction. People need more than sustenance and more than shelter. They need purpose. And without art, there is no language to express what that purpose should be. If you believe that life should mean more, if you know that humanity is meant to create rather than to consume, then like, subscribe, and share this video, because art is not merely decoration. It is a necessary tool for civilizational survival. Art is essential for human aspiration. People do not build monuments for the sake of stone, nor do they write epic poetry for the sake of ink. These things exist because they point beyond themselves and because they awaken something that cannot be captured in the numbers or words alone. Art allows people to see what they might one day become, and it takes vague longing and makes it real, shaping it into something that others can witness, grasp, and pursue. Every great civilization has understood this. The Renaissance did not begin with scientific discovery alone. It began with art. The Sistine Chapel, Michelangelo's David, and the works of Da Vinci. These creations defined an era's aspirations and set the stage for everything that followed. Even the space age, seemingly the pinnacle of cold engineering, was first imagined in paintings and literature of dreamers long before a single rocket ever left the Earth. Because art does not exist to reflect what already is, it exists to reveal what could be. And a society that loses its art loses its imagination, and a people who dismiss artistic expression abandon the very thing that separates them from machines. Moreover, art liberates us from the tyranny of pure rationality, and we are in desperate need of that because many people believe that reason alone is enough for man, and that logic, data, and practical concerns can guide civilization. But the truth is that reason can only analyze, it cannot inspire. No one fights for a spreadsheet. No one is moved to action by statistics. And a man does not sacrifice for efficiency, nor does he build a life around a formula. Instead, he follows a vision. He is moved by beauty, by meaning, and by something that calls to him beyond the material. Pure rationality tells a person how to survive, but it cannot give to him a reason to live. It can measure the height of a mountain, but it cannot tell him why he should climb it. And this is why civilizations built on pragmatism alone collapse into aimlessness. Without a guiding story and without a sense of the sacred, they drift into a whirlpool. Art, therefore, is necessary because it bypasses sterile calculation and speaks directly to the soul. It gives shape to the inexpressible, making meaning tangible, and a society that discards it in favor of pure reason does not become more enlightened, it becomes hollow. And that hollowing out of a civilization's artistic vision is equally an erosion, a dissolution of the foundations of the communities that exist within that civilization. Every enduring culture and every lasting movement has been built on a shared artistic vision. Without it, people remain isolated as atomized individuals rather than a unified people. Religious traditions understood this long before modern societies did. They did not spread their beliefs through argument alone, but through music, architecture, and sacred imagery. Stained glass windows were not merely decoration, they were a way to make the invisible visible and to give the faithful a glimpse of something greater. And nations are no different. Their strength is not derived from policy alone, nor by geography, but from the stories, symbols, and songs that bind their people together. A flag is not a piece of cloth. An anthem is not a sequence of notes. These things carry the weight of shared history, of sacrifice, and of common purpose. Even revolutions depend on artistic expression. The banners, the slogans, and the poetry of defiance, none of them are accidents. They are essential. A movement without art is a movement without identity. It has no means of rallying its people, no way of translating its ideals into something the human heart can grasp. Because art is what allows people to see themselves as part of something greater. It is the foundation upon which true, vivifying community is built. And the loss of that foundation is the source of many problems which characterize modernity. A society that loses its art does not remain the same. And without art, there is no memory, no ambition, and no shared vision of the future. History becomes nothing more than a list of facts, stripped of the myths and narratives that once gave it meaning. People become disconnected from their own past, unable to see themselves as part of an ongoing story. And when that happens, their ability to build for the future vanishes as well. A culture without art is a culture without inspiration. There is nothing left to strive toward, no heroic ideal, no image of something greater, and no reminder that humanity is capable of more. People become trapped in the present, weighed down by the mundane, blind to the possibility of something better. This is why civilizations that allow their artistic traditions to decay always follow the same path. They do not collapse in firing conquest. They simply fade into irrelevance, their people losing the will to create, to build, and to dream. Therefore, a world without art is not a world of pure reason. It is a world of decay. Therefore, if those of us who suffer the monotony and listlessness of modernity hope to overcome the tyranny of aimlessness, then art cannot remain an afterthought. It is not a luxury, nor is it a frivolous pursuit. It is the beating heart of human civilization. It is how people give form to the ineffable, and it is how they translate their highest aspirations into something real. To restore meaning and to revive culture, to rebuild civilization itself, art must be reclaimed. It must be defended, demanded, and pursued. But not all art is worthy. Not all creation uplifts. But the solution to bad art is not its absence, it is the demand for greatness. This is not the task of a single artist or a single generation. It is the work of all who believe that humanity is meant for more, that there are still visions worth pursuing, and that beauty is not a relic of the past, but a promise for the future. If you believe this, if you refuse to accept mediocrity, and if you know that civilization is built on more than numbers, then like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. Because what we build tomorrow begins with what we imagine today. With the Guildrim, I'm Gene Botkin. Lord have mercy.